with the fucking multiplayer.
All right, now this is the first word of the stream.
But you didn't tell anybody you started streaming.
It's right in front of you.
Leave it.
He doesn't pay attention, bro.
I love you're going to start streaming in the middle of us talking.
It was right in front of you. Like I was doing it on the monitor right in front of you.
I was looking at Bloodaxe. I make eye contact when I talk to people.
And then it goes live right as you're like,
You're an idiot, man.
No, you're an idiot.
I'm not an idiot. I wouldn't start something while someone's talking.
It was 3:30. I said, time to start. While y'all two were talking. So I started it up on the monitor in front of you.
I only happen to be the first person to drop an F-bomb. Me and Bloodaxe curse constantly. Who would start a live stream while me and Bloodaxe are talking?
Bloodaxe knew what time it was.
Yeah, you saw his eyes. See, because I make eye contact.
All right, let's get started.
Well, either way, it should be a day one, brother. So, hopefully we'll get it. We'll be able to go bust some heads.
We'll get into that at the end of the show. I have some thoughts on that too.
Yeah. You think they're going to make me wait on Cole again?
I've been reading. Never mind.
Well, you've got something on it? Okay, yeah. Hold on. Why don't you do the intro, genius?
I'm waiting for you two to finish up.
Now you're waiting.
So you can
waiting.
Go ahead and demonetize this.
No. Okay, well, now you know how to wait. Go ahead.
As a matter of fact, I started to start the show, and you guys interrupted me, so I just stopped.
You know what gets demonetized? The violence that you are about to trigger will be far more demonetizing.
We'll
call it a hate crime.
Well, Dicejunkies, I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And on Skype,
we have Bloodaxe here.
Let's get started.
Yes,
with the violence. Speaking of violence, we were watching. Me and Q started watching Yu Yu Hakusho on Netflix.
On Jarek's suggestion, he pointed us at it.
Yeah, and I will say, surprisingly good.
I was like ecstatic, jumping up and down. Man, this was some good action. All I kept saying is, who are these guys and why are they not doing the other live actions? I'm not saying this was the most incredible special effects. I'm not even saying it's the most incredible acting. But it was good acting for a live action. Well done. Definitely some good scenes.
Well, when we looked it up,
amazing
they
action.
are the ones that are doing the current, supposedly really good Godzilla
Godzilla
movie.
-1 has been said to be amazing.
So,
and then what they got off of that low budget in special effects was great. The special effects, characters were surprisingly accurate. The action, though. Dude, you don't even like anime Bloodaxe, but you don't like these fight scenes. They were good fight scenes, man. And come on, it don't matter what the story is about if the fight scene's good enough. You know that. These were good fights.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's good when Netflix actually released the amount of hours that was
Well,
viewed.
they actually released the data? Holy crap, it's doing good. Netflix released the data.
They disclosed the data. Netflix never discloses the data.
Wow, 32.1 million hours viewed. For a live action anime, that's crazy. Because also what's
on the debut week.
Yeah, and I want to point.
2 weeks now.
Well, there's another important fact. Yu Yu Hakusho is an old anime.
Yeah,
it's not the current hotness. It's like most of the people that know this are going to be in our age group because that came out way back. Like this is a really old one, Bloodaxe. This is older than Gears franchise. This is an old anime, like way back. Like pre-Gears 1 probably. So
this is something we said when we were watching it. Gerald here says whoever is in charge of fight photography did an amazing job and studied the source material. And we were actually talking about that. Like the characters had a similar walk. They had similar style. They did really well at pulling from the source material. Even though it's a truncated version of the source material, which was actually fine. I mean, the anime was slow in bits, and this stopped that from happening by them sort of truncating it. But,
hundreds of episodes, man.
Oh, yeah. But really, really good. I hope they continue on to the second season.
Yeah, this is a 1990 anime.
Yeah.
1990, 34 years ago, 33, 34 years ago. And it's getting mad views because it's good. And you know what I like about it? If you didn't watch the anime, the show covers the stuff well enough. Now, is it perfect point for point? No. But it's a really good intro to get somebody to want to go watch the anime. Or for us, we're very much wanting to see more. We're excited about there being more.
Yeah.
Oh, that drop kick, yeah.
Dude, that was beautiful.
Watch this. That fight scene. Watch the.
And
what? Are you kidding?
This is Comcast.
Comcast sucks. Oh, at the best part, we get hit with. Wow, and it's not. Oh, I hate Comcast so much. I'm so glad I am on C Spire now. Oh man.
Oh wow, they're just screwing us out of the scene.
The best part. Go. Well, go watch the show. It's really awesome. And if you don't have Comcast, you could probably see it.
Oh, that's probably not Comcast. It's probably X and
wherever
that video is being
maybe.
posted.
All right,
we're
fair.
streaming, dude. There's no way that Comcast. I mean,
how do we know right now? People are like, that's what we're looking like.
Because I have that data tracked and it's not popping up.
Okay, then. Well, literally that drop kick would have made most of you go watch the show. It was hilarious. When I saw it, I almost crapped myself. Like, look, see, he's still desperately trying to get it to play. Give it up, man. They know what you're here for. This is how they increase their viewing hours. All right, are you going to go somewhere else? Okay.
I get the volume came back. Here we go.
Oh, drop kick. Got it. That was a beautifully executed drop kick. Boom! It was the fight choreography is so good. I actually made the comment that I said, "Are all the actors stunt guys?" Because like it doesn't look like they're using stunt doubles half the time. Yet the stuff is amazing, and that is just a beautiful, beautiful drop kick.
Though he did react before he actually got hit. Watching it in slow motion.
You don't think you wouldn't try to get away from a drop kick? I disagree. I also would react if I saw someone flying at me with both feet.
All right. Point.
Yeah, they were trying to back up. I like that one got a neck, like a nice neck connection in there. So great live action. We were saying, man, we need more of this. Imagine, but you know what breaks my heart is that made me wonder what Cowboy Bebop could have been. Like Cowboy Bebop could have been so much more watching that.
Yeah.
Like you just look at this and go like, oh man, what we lost by letting idiots make it, you know. I mean, this thing was good enough, man. I wouldn't mind seeing them do it Gears or something, do some video games because like they put so much effort into it. And like I said, Godzilla -1 is considered possibly they literally, to tell you about Godzilla -1 as a quick aside, the director of the original Godzilla movies that did well made a comment saying that he watched Godzilla -1 and it made him jealous. Now that's props. He said, I am jealous of what you guys did here. That is amazing. When you can make the other producers go, okay, dude, screw it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you can pull what's our boy? Hurt. The song Hurt. Johnny Cash. When you can pull like Johnny Cash did, when you make the original guys go, all right, man, you tore that up.
Trent Reznor was like, no, that's his song. That's not my song
Johnny
anymore.
tore it up. Yeah, that is the Hurt of everybody's like Godzilla -1. So they're a good studio. Some of their older stuff was a little rough around the edges, but what I like is you can almost see the growth as you see the content get better. Like you look at it and literally you see it get better as it goes down. I look forward to what they get next. I am now looking at old animes and going like, we might get some good stuff out of this. And we might actually find a bit to make Bloodaxe watch the one because the action, well, the pacing in the live action, first of all, it's not animated. It's live action. 2, it's nonstop, man. The pacing's good, isn't it? Pacing's really good. They keep stuff happening. Like, they designed this to keep you engaged, which we need because Bloodaxe's attention span. Because we lost him in the middle. I lost him in the middle of that sentence. Like you can see him fading out as I was saying it. His eyes only lighting up when I said action. He's like, action?
Action?
Anime? Action? Pacing?
Robot Communications was the company, the Japanese company that worked on this. And they've had some, they've definitely had some misses over the years. But I mean, recently these have done pretty good.
Yeah, Alice in Borderland, I understand, was supposed to be popular.
Alice in Borderland's decent. And now, of course, Godzilla -1's doing great, and now Yu Yu Hakusho. So,
and on a small budget, like they know how to squeeze every penny out of that money, which probably because there's less corruption. But the money goes toward the actual project. You know what I'm saying? You're not overpaying like prima donna actors and directors who think that they're bigger than the freaking products. Anyway, all right, let me. Good job, Robot Communications. Let's move to something else before we put Bloodaxe to sleep.
All right, and next up,
it's not technically anime though. This is the localization.
English localizers unhappy after the Ancient Magus Bride announces AI human hybrid simulpubs, with the quote of, "Such disrespect for the substance of the original text is saddening."
Now, if you don't know, Asmongold and Rev is the one whose video Asmongold was reacting to, covered recently the localization trauma of them putting political imagine that you're supposed to be translating what someone says, but you decide to just change it. This is what was happening. The most well-known offender is Dragon's Maid, where they literally put in messages about the patriarchy and stuff into a Japanese anime, which, as we like to joke about, we don't even think has a word for patriarchy, and is also not what is said. There's nothing worse than when someone misquotes you. But I was wrong. There is something worse than when someone misquotes you. It's when someone lies about what you said. That is the worst thing. And it is lying. And Asmongold said said the same. He said it's lying.
Yeah.
If a person says A and you change it to B because that person doesn't speak the language you're changing it to, you are a liar. You are lying about what was said.
I mean, here's the thing, and I mean, this is mostly going to be on text. It's because I mean, you'll still need voice actors, at least for now, until AI gets a little further.
But if they translate it to text and make them read the text.
You mind if I finish? You can't just read the text, for one, because they try to match the lips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I was saying is, so a lot of this is just the text for right now. Now, we read a lot of books that are translated and fan translated, and a lot of them use AI translations and then go through and smooth it out and stuff like that. One of the things that I have always appreciated in those is normally they will either tell you if they're changing a colloquialism to something that's more localized, or they'll actually, which is my preferred method, define the colloquialism so that it is understood by a culture that doesn't necessarily use that. For one, it's educating. I get to learn a little more about that culture and some of their quotes. And honestly, reading cultivation stuff, I've utilized. I have adopted several of their sayings and colloquialisms.
Old ginger is spicier.
Yeah, And, I mean, probably some of the ones that have already made it over here is all, the frog at the bottom of a well is one that...
I did not know how high Mount Tai was.
And stuff like that. And I think by replacing that, you're lowering the quality of the work anyway. And that's going to stop a lot of that. And that's what I appreciate out of this.
Well, it's cultural appropriation because you are changing their culture to meet your needs. Because here's the thing. I'll put it in short. I'm sorry I cut you off, but all I was going to try to say was that if I go to see a French movie, it's much like when I go to eat French food. I want it to be French.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be Americanized. I want it to be French. If I go for some friggin' Spanish food, I want it to be Spanish. We personally pick our restaurants that are foreign food cuisines by authenticity specifically.
Yeah, well, because one of the reasons why, similar to why we read, other cultural is because it's different. It's new. It has a different, as far as food goes, it has a different spice palette. They use different ingredients that we don't use, Well, the books have different ideas and ways of thought that we don't have. It gets you out of your bubble, for one. I think, yes, I get why they're pissed about their work being changed. But, and this has been going on for a really long time.
It's a long happening crime.
It's just they finally come up with a way to get around it.
Because there's a big divide in anime culture of people who will only watch subbed versus people who will watch dub. It's because all the sub watchers, of which I am and so are you, know that they change it. We know they change it in the dub. Now, usually they try to localize it and they lose context. Let's be fair. That's usually what happens. They don't get the subtle nuances.
If one of the popular movies that came out a while back, I'm talking decades now, but Crossing Tiger, Hidden Dragon. If you actually watch that subbed versus dubbed, there is a lot of context that is lost in the dub. One of my favorite things to tell people to give them the contrast is one of the good things Netflix does is you can actually use because they have everything tracked out, you can have the subtitles while having it dubbed. And just the level of difference and is amazing.
Yu Yu Hakusho had at the beginning where and they spoil a literal part of the story in the dub, where he makes a comment that doesn't really come up and get verified until a little bit later. And you're like, and when we saw it, I said, he's not supposed to know that yet. But in the dub, he says it like one of the first lines. And I'm like, that's example of them screwing it up because you're like, that's supposed to be a secret for at least a few more minutes. And that's the kind of mistakes that are made. But Funimation and Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial, I'll name drop, I don't care, are prone to not doing that and just changing the entire personality of a character. And that's a bigger crime. Bloodaxe, here's how I can bring you in on this, man. We like Gears of War 5 because we like the characters. We like the personalities. That one of the reasons we weren't feeling some of the later ones is that those slight changes, those personalities, weren't appreciated by us, were they? You awake, man? So changing a personality is not a small thing. That's a big thing to do to a character. And that's what they're doing. They're changing what they're saying and thus changing their literal personality.
All right. We'll move on.
Yeah, I can't get him. I'm trying to. I'm looking at Bloodaxe and he's just like, I heard anime, I'm out.
Yeah. Next time, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. We weren't here for Christmas.
We talked about it the week before. That joke. Day before, week before.
Yeah, I got you. Man, I got a headache.
A little bit later, it would have been the year before,
So the day before game did announce that they are shutting down the servers for the game as of the 22nd of January.
That's the difference between what we said before.
So,
explain the difference between that and what was happening before.
Originally, the studio shut down like 2 days after the game was released, so you couldn't buy the game anymore if you hadn't already bought it. Now you won't be able to play the game as of the 22nd of January. Now they did say they will be making sure to work with Steam so that everybody can get a refund.
Because they're basically, but this is kind of unique because they are killing the game. I've never seen anyone kill a game. I've seen a game do poorly and they stop supporting it, but no, they're pulling the servers. This game will not be, for the most part, unless you can find a way to do it offline, which will probably take finagling, this game is going to be actually dead.
Yeah.
This is the closest to deleting the hard drives. Like, they are literally killing this game.
Yeah.
How bad was your game? You're killing it.
Here's the thing. Unless somebody buys the studio and gets the IP, which nobody did, so there's no developers, there's no studio behind the game, the servers can't stay up because who's paying the bill? who's doing the development work behind the servers? It's a dead game, man. And I mean, I haven't seen anything die that quick, you know.
And it had hype. That's what's so wild. Like, apparently, as I was looking into it, it had quite a bit of hype to people for a survival game because, well, like you were complaining about not trusting the No Man's Sky producer with what he's promising a new game. It's that they promised big and they friggin' dropped. And it's sad to see a game fail. But it is nice to finally see some consequences for promising and not delivering. So I have mixed feelings. You know, I have mixed feelings. Like, hey, we need to start putting these putting these franchises in the dirt when they don't do what they say they're going to do. We do. But those are jobs. Those are dreams. That's somebody's baby. So it's unfortunate. But at the same time, who do they have to blame? You know, and of course, this triggered our usual Redfall. We got to go see what Redfall's doing.
sorry, yeah, he's talking.
No, I don't blame you. I was thinking it. I was thinking it.
Have we got an update from Redfall yet?
You've known me long enough. Do you think I wasn't thinking it? And that guy's not in the game at all. I didn't see that. That character looked kind of cool in that cutscene.
No, nothing new there. All right.
Well, they're not 2 months ago. God dang. Well, at least the servers are still up. I think.
Yeah.
The servers are still there. Heck, the Gears servers are still up, but they stopped working on that. That's what gets me. Gears 5 has stopped making money a long time ago. Servers are still up, man. Heck, you can still go play the older Gears, can't you, Bloodaxe?
Yeah.
Yeah. How far back can you go? I think you can play. I know you can play 4. Can you play 3 as well?
Oh yeah, I played that earlier in the year.
So it's just that's why the server shutdown is so unexpected. Is that people keep old game servers running, man?
Well, there's a little more run on the day before servers than on something like Gears of 5, where most everything is localized and it's just a combat system.
I mean, it's a multiplayer.
Yeah.
And a PvP. Yeah, there's a whole PvP version.
But I mean, I think there's a little more on the server side there.
I mean, yeah, they probably were maintaining specific whole settings instead of loading maps. So I'll give you that. But yeah, so like before, studio was down. Now, game's genuinely dead. And full refunds are going to have to be issued out because, well, you can't keep the money. Now, you know what? I'm glad they're refunding it because technically, the way a lot of those contracts are written when you buy these games, they don't have to refund you. This is something that Xeno and I think even Bloodaxe. Yeah, Bloodaxe has covered this too because that's why he buys physical media. You remember Bloodaxe? You made a big thing about physical media. And Xeno was always looking at people and warning them. I remember early Dicejunkies, Xeno said, you don't own spit. He said that. He said, you don't own spit from these stores. These games are not yours. And I remember me ranting about, I'll burn the studio down if they do that. So I guess there wouldn't be anything to burn down. It's probably been.
It's already
they're
gutted,
smart.
man.
They heard my thing and they said like, "No, man, that building's already empty.
It's been gutted.
All you'll do is just annoy a bunch of vagrants, man. And I wouldn't want to do that. Those guys didn't do anything, you know. But hey, speaking of wasting your damn time, because I still think this is a waste of people's time. Segue. Come on, smooth.
So Bobby Kotick is being flayed on social media. This comes right after him being dismissed by Microsoft and replaced. I'll be honest with you, I sort of see this as
Waste of time?
not necessarily a waste of time. I see this, if I was Microsoft, I would stir the pot against Bobby Kotick. Because you've just adopted this company with all this bad vibes around them.
Scapegoat.
And you push it all on the coach.
Scapegoat. Okay. I mean, who God knows that they had to pay him to get him to leave.
Oh,
so,
no.
yeah, they paid for
and
it.
that's the reason why it's a waste of time. Is like you said, he's got a $400 million leaving the company.
Oh, yeah, I'd put all the kick me signs on his back I could, yeah. Well, no, that's why it's a waste of time, because he doesn't care. Bobby Kotick literally didn't care when he was in the office. Why would he care after he left about what anybody from a gaming community thinks of him? He probably doesn't even know about this. Literally doesn't even know about it. He is probably unaware that this is even happening and does not care. He got 400 million. He does not care.
But I mean, so if you want to grab a company that has a very stained name, put it on one guy. That's all I got to say, dude. That's why I'm not surprised.
Well, put it on one guy and won't affect. I don't like ruining people's career, but as we know, nothing can ruin Bobby Kotick's career.
I was about to say, also, he is sort of to blame for a lot of it.
Oh, no, yeah, that too.
I mean, he is.
Well, no, it's not false. I mean, yes, he is to blame.
But I mean, if I was Microsoft, like I said, I'd be stirring the pot.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We don't know who those people are that keep saying that.
Yeah.
You know.
So I'm not surprised one bit. I knew as soon as he left, all the problems would be shifted onto him. And Microsoft is trying to get out of this with a clean sweep. They're trying to do some damage control, man.
They should.
I mean, they paid all the courts in California. They did all the, we talked about them last week or a couple weeks ago, them calling people back to the office,
There's nothing wrong with raising about talking trash about a guy that wipes his butt with your net worth. He's fine. So he's a fine target. I just say, like, we've seen some people get scapegoated.
Well, yeah.
that needed their livelihoods. So I don't want to be a hypocrite. But I know that Bobby doesn't care and is fine and is also at fault, too, because he is behind a lot. Like, the stuff they're accusing him of sounds viable. I can't say because, fair trial.
Yeah.
Always been a fair trial. But, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if there was a trial. It's like they say, like, we're going to bring up these charges. I'll be like, you're probably going to find. Yeah.
I mean, they go as deep as alleged connections with Jeffrey Epstein. So,
and again, I can see that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like none of this has been unbelievable. So the problem is that nobody's going to pursue it. Who would even pursue it? So all they could do is badmouth them.
Yeah. I mean, dude's probably got a private island somewhere sipping on a pina colada.
Which is why we also can believe the connections with Jeffrey Epstein.
It's right next.
Man, you get direct flight, man. Direct flight. But the main thing, and we tease because, again, I mean, if he was actually on trial, we would say, okay, well, let's wait and see. But he's not, so we can tease. And we got to make this clear because there's a lot of people out there that don't think sanely.
Wasn't 2024 supposed to be when that list finally gets released? Like they keep
That'll
saying.
be another story. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Hey, look, man, Epstein Island was the real life nightmare world. I want somebody to follow up on that because there were victims. People were harmed.
Let's not talk about that on this show.
You started that.
I know.
Anyway, sorry.
I didn't want to go. I don't want to slide down that rabbit hole.
Key part is that they're going after Bobby. Feel free. He's fine. You can kick it, Bobby. You ain't going to reach him. So your foot ain't going to get through the glass ceiling. So you can kick it, Bobby, all you want. Like, the dude's on a whole other level. He got $400 million from being fired. How wealthy is that you're fired for $400 million? I'll never see that unless I rob Bobby Kotick. Like, he got fired for more money than I'll ever have. You put all of us together, it won't add up to what he got paid to leave. Also, how bad were you that they paid you $400 million to leave? That does make him look guilty. Dude, we'll give you $400 million. Just please get the F out.
Well, I think it was in his contract. He was known for having some of the most
questionable,
profitable.
Cutthroat. Yeah, that's what I said.
Profitable.
That's what I said. Cutthroat, questionable.
Because, I mean, he was getting massive bonuses every year. He was, I mean, it.
Yeah.
And it was all in that contract, all on paper, man.
Well, they say the devil knows how to make a deal. Let's jump.
All right, speaking of the devil.
Except some devils don't. Come on, this one's got to wake you up, Bloodaxe. This is the best news we've seen in a while.
Tencent loses $54 billion as China airs new online gaming rules. So basically, this happened several days ago. China released some new guidelines on online games must set spending limits. Online games must ban daily login rewards. Players who basically they're trying to get their own population that is engulfed into gaming.
I heard it is big over there. They are like, we are not as obsessed with gaming as they are.
And, well, dude, I mean, I've heard as much as hearing, you know, of course, part of this being they blame a lot of this for the decreased population. I mean,
well, the thing is, yeah, because Americans are not the largest portion of whales. Like the people that spend that really like thousands of dollars. We're not the whales, man. Like, that's overseas. Not there in particular, but just overseas in general, I've heard, is where the big spenders are.
But anyway, so a lot of these restrictions put a big hit on Tencent's market plan. You know,
well, they have a lot of the mobile games and stuff, yeah.
So with this, their stock dropped. Overall, it was like 80 billion market meltdown. So now China has come back, said, let's talk about this. Maybe we need to draft some new rules here, but we may need to come at this from a different angle.
Well, you know my conspiracy theory, and I call it conspiracy theory, that like Tencent is, well, I don't know if that's really conspiracy. No, let's be nice. My conspiracy theory of Tencent being owned by the Chinese government is an example of them shooting themselves in the foot. They're like, pass these strict laws. Sir, we lost $53 billion. Let's roll that back. You're just like, but I mean, what's more scary to me is that they lost $53 billion. They barely flinched, man. How much is that company worth?
I mean, it said Tencent saw its share drop as much as 16%. So it was 16%.
And they don't seem to be panicking.
And NetEase tumbled a record 28%. So,
by the way, how much of the gaming market is coming from friggin' China? Like, you're right. They are apparently the kings of microtransactions. Did you know that, Bloodaxe? Because if you lost that much money off of just China, China is definitely a huge chunk.
Just Tencent, NetEase, and Bilibili, they lost $80 billion. Over $80 billion in market value.
Just from China's gaming. So how many, and those laws were only really for like microtransactions and excessive tips. So holy crap, dude. China is spending a lot of money on microtransactions. Like they were able to affect the market like that. So, all right, I guess I'll at least give that back to John Cena. Maybe he does need to pander to the Chinese market. I'm a businessman, too. I'm not unreasonable. I'm like, wow, at least for your video games. Movies, we've proven we can do movies without that market. But if you're doing video games with microtransactions, you know what? I wouldn't mind if they just made all the microtransaction games just for China and then we got decent games. That'd be great. Give us RPGs and action games. Let me and Bloodaxe enjoy our games. And then make little pachinko and all that for China. Leave us the hell alone.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? Make Last of Us 3 purely Chinese game. Don't mess with us. Leave us alone. I don't want to see that crap anymore. The story of Abby Smash.
What do you think, Blood?
Well, we were talking before the show, and just the general income for your average person in China is relatively low. So just from a pure population perspective, that kind of shows you the amount of numbers we're talking about to have a $53 billion loss. So, we've always been against microtransactions. Unless it's cosmetics and not pay to win, or if I want to drop some $3-4 for a cosmetic skin, great, let's do that. But pay to win, I don't think that should be fair for any game, in my personal opinion. Just like we're playing Dead Island 2 right now, and if I want to go and buy the extra gold skins for my weapons, okay, I can do that, but that's not going to give me any benefit over Q, who's not going to pay that money for the gold skins. So I think it's it's fine for me because I don't give a rip about China, and if they go belly up, that's just good with me too.
I mean, my only hope here is, and from what it sounded like, they didn't have plans for microtransactions. But if they did, this culled any of them for where the winds meet. which is like the only game coming out of China I really care about. But
man, don't scare me because
for a while.
I normally am anti-microtransactions, but if I can get like a drunken cultivation technique. I've been waiting for this game, a cultivation game, for a long time, dude. I'd be really tempted if they put certain stuff.
Don't give them any ideas, man. Calm down.
I mean, never. That's a terrible idea. I will come to your country, and no amount of your police will hold me back. But no, man, I'm very I'm very hard to tempt. Bloodaxe is not kidding. He knows I'll run around in base skin underwear. Like, I do not like buying cosmetics.
Like, this is coming from the same man that I brought to the casino, and he got mad about losing $10. And I gave him $20 so he wouldn't be mad anymore. And he was just mad even more that it could have been $30 he had if he hadn't lost 10.
I do not like wasting my money. I got Dead Island 2. You may be surprised at what I said. I got Dead Island 2 because it was 40% off. I would not buy it at 20. I would not buy it at 30. And I only bought it at 40 because I felt bad that Bloodaxe wouldn't play the game until I bought it. Otherwise, I would have waited for 60. But that's my boy. So he got y'all an extra 20%. You better be happy. If it wasn't for him, because he literally wouldn't turn the game on. Like, he was like, I'm waiting for you to buy the game. They got it down to 40. I said, okay, I'll do 40. But I don't waste my money. Now, and that's a good way. What Bloodaxe was saying made me think something like, yeah, while Americans have an entertainment budget, the amount, even for us gamers, like we're all considered gamers, the majority of our entertainment budget is not actually games, though. We go out, we eat, we drink, you know what I'm saying? Whereas apparently it seems to be implied that amongst the, like, especially when you talk about income, that in the Chinese budget, their entertainment budget is apparently almost all video games because they must be spending a larger portion than us on games to be able to affect the market like that. Because a lot like that passing America, I don't think would cost anybody $80 billion. I don't think it would hit for $80 billion, man. It would hit for a few, but I don't think it would hit for $80 billion instantly. So that's wild. And we're a big market. We got a lot of money. I mean, when it comes to market, we spend a lot on
honestly,
our toys.
I think where we would get hit the most off of is the big tips. Because
we do have big tippers. Yeah, there are people that throw money at certain people. That might affect. Yeah, but would that affect the game market or just the streamers?
It would affect like Twitch. It would affect YouTube. It would affect.
Yeah, I don't think it would affect the companies directly. Whatever, this hit the companies like on the chin.
I don't know, dude. Also, our mobile market, man. People who play mobile games in the U.S.
But how many of them fall outside of those limits? Because those limits weren't that strict, though. They weren't crazy strict. They didn't shut it down completely.
It didn't actually give a limit. It just said must set spending limits. Games
now there's the one. No, number 4. That's the big hit in America. They love those draws. Yeah, they love the casino, the roulette style thing.
That's 90% of your market of.
That's probably the one that really hit.
Microtransactions.
All right, let's jump. But like, that's wild. No, that's the one. Number 4 is the number of deaths for real here. That is the one that probably would hit the worst over here.
Well, and this is the one that has gotten the most hits from multiple countries. Multiple countries have looked at because this is the big gambling mechanic. This is the drug, if you want to say. You know,
buy this chest. Maybe you'll get something good. Maybe you'll get your favorite soccer player or football player. Oh, you want the retro Miami Dolphins skin? Well, roll the number. Oh, look, you got half of it. You got the shoes.
The online games must ban daily login rewards. That's just fighting the gaming addiction type thing there.
I hate daily login rewards because I don't have time to do it.
Yeah,
I hate missing out on it, but it ain't going to make me stupid enough to do it. So it just means I lose out, and Bloodaxe just leaves me to dust. I show up, and Bloodaxe has got this freaking awesome gun skin. He's like, "Did you not log in for the last 3 days?" Huh? Or he's like, "Yeah, I bought a game for free off of my login points," and I'm like, because he's studious. He's always been the most.
Oh yeah,
dedicated.
dude. I mean, he'd get them keys for the Borderlands.
God, I don't think Borderlands ever expected anybody to be as good at keeping up with the keys. He was getting keys for Wonderlands months after he stopped playing it. He was still sending me keys. I'm just like, I've got like 98 diamond keys. No one to use them with because no one's willing to play that piece of crap. But I had the keys. Like, Bloodaxe don't play. He's showing up. He's got a special, hey, where'd you get that? Oh, yeah, this new skin is for 8 minutes under the full moon on Thursday. You can get this. You put it in. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, hey, man, do you want me to tell you next time? And I'm like, I don't have the dedication to do that, even if you tell me.
All right. Let's see.
3 gold keys in Borderlands 3 still. So, yeah.
You have so many Borderlands 3 keys, and it's stupid. He has enough that they ever allowed you to start trading those in for, like, anything, it would be over. He'd be the lord of Borderlands 3.
Oh. So the Insomniac PlayStation 2 studio angered by ransomware hack. So basically, Insomniac got hacked. They were ransomware. They refused to pay. And a bunch of stuff from Insomniac got released over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, we couldn't remember if we covered this. So if we did, we're jumping back just to make sure we didn't miss anything.
I checked. We didn't.
Okay. But still,
we just talked about it a lot over the holidays.
Yeah, and we thought we had talked about it with y'all, but we definitely talked about it. It basically, the reveals, because remember we kept going on about how much they spent. Like, they spent, that's why you thought we talked about it, because I talked about it nonstop, because they revealed how much they were spending on these games. Like Spider-Man 2, that game everybody's going on about, it has not turned a profit. Like, it was super freaking expensive. And they haven't even come close to making their money back. And you're like, well, they're close. They're getting close. But you would think it was making killer. Turns out it was really, really expensive. And you don't know these things because they don't tell you. So you're not aware that, like, the game was, like, insanely expensive to the point that, like, they're still working on getting even to where we're making money off of this game. So it was a lot. There was names and personal data, which we definitely are against. That I don't think that was necessary for them to release people's contact information. But releasing the money to spend on the games, I kind of appreciate getting to find out, like, what Sony is lying to you about, or at least concealing. Like, they're telling you Spider-Man 2 is a success. They're not telling you Spider-Man 2 ain't even making money yet. It's still getting its money back that it expended, which is amazing because looking at it, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't see it. I don't feel like the game's acting, artwork, or anything was at a point that it should have been so, what was it, $30 million more than the original budget? $270 million. Like, this game costs more than many movies. Like blockbuster movies.
To sell over 7 million units just to turn a profit.
Now, they said it's likely to hit its mark and turn a profit because it's already at over 5 million. But still, like, you weren't aware, though, that they're still aiming at making their money back and getting into a profit. Now, will it? It'll probably eventually get there, but the expenditure on this game was insane. And then they spent, like, oh my God, was it like $600 million getting the Marvel contracts for more games? So Sony's hemorrhaging money.
$270 million budget, but you forget the budget doesn't end too at the release of the game. I mean, the game had bugs when it came out that had to be fixed. People have to be paid to fix those bugs.
There's constant maintenance. Yeah. So, they're going to be wrestling to get this game into really making money. It's because also we both know that the majority of game sales are in the first 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
That's when you sell the game, especially because it has no multiplayer component. So multiplayer games can have longer legs on sales
because
as people.
It did somehow manage to win some awards,
No, it didn't. It didn't win anything.
Did it not win?
It lost every nomination.
Because maybe it got nominated. It got some visual hype. maybe it extended its sales a little longer.
Hopefully, because. But are they going to make enough to make up for all that licensing they spent on the rest of the Marvel for like stuff? Like Sony is throwing mad money to get these exclusives.
Yeah,
the cost of their
here
exclusives
they're
is
talking
insane.
about how Sony was forcing them to replace developers with other developers to try to cut back on the budget for Wolverine because of the budget got so high with Spider-Man.
These exclusives are expensive, man. And when you think that they're only putting it out on one console, that's why. Spider-Man 2 would have already made its money back if it had been a multi-platform game. I guarantee it. Because
I would have bought it.
Well, also, it made $5 million on just PlayStation. It would have at least made another $5 million across
I would
the
say
other.
at least another $5 million. We'll say be generous, 2 or 3 million
2 or 3 million more copies, but the target was 7
in the first 2 weeks.
No, but the target was 7. It would have already turned a profit.
Because you got to think, okay, so 5 million from PlayStation. Now we already saw numbers on the number of PlayStation sold versus number of Xboxes sold. It's a 1-to-4 ratio. So if you say there's a fourth of the population on Xbox, then you probably get about a fourth.
I'm also talking about PC, like it's a multi-platform.
PC, which it'll eventually come out on PC.
I'm saying they would have already broke the 7 million cap, though. Definitely,
Yeah.
They would have got at least $1 million or more off of PC, at least $1 million or more off of Xbox. They would have already be profitable.
Now your cost does go up when you do cross-platform. I mean, there are some additional costs. There's a licensing cost of putting it on Xbox.
You're already at 270. How much higher can it go?
I mean,
Probably only a few million
about
for that.
another 30 million on
Think
there.
it'd be 30 million to make it multi-platform?
Probably, yeah.
They should make that back though pretty easy with the sales.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that, but like the leak caused a lot of trouble because it showed that Insomniac's making pure Marvel for years. No original IP for a long time. Ratchet and Clank is like multiple years off. But it also showed that like, I think it was it 400 or 600 million like in licensing fees to get exclusive access. So we never realized how much money Sony, we always said Sony had to be throwing a lot of money for its exclusives. The actual numbers are alarming. Like they are massive amounts. And now I understand this is why people said, oh, now we know why Sony's so scared of Microsoft buying licenses. Because this is all Sony has. I thought Sony was this great system. No, it's just throwing mad amounts of money at these exclusive licenses. So much that, who's going to turn down $600 million? Because you're like, I don't even care if the game works now. I made my money. Make whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's a massive, massive amount of money. But if they do not have if 1 year is not good for Sony, they're effed. That's so much money they're putting into that. They will be screwed. So, like, they are also playing on a razor's edge. I did not know that they were playing this dangerous game of, we're throwing out a lot of money. We're getting it back, though. Luckily, we're getting it back. But one bad year, it only takes one of those licenses Xbox bought, jumping those sales enough, and Sony's in trouble. I did not know Sony was in this much trouble. I was surprised. I thought they were the kings firmly. But these people don't want to make Sony games exclusive. They're being paid massive compensation. It's not everybody loves Sony and all the studios want to make for Sony. It's Sony pays us a stupid amount of money to do it. Like, stupid amount of money. They're like, sorry, Xbox, but like these guys are paying us hundreds of millions of dollars. And you know what? I can't blame them, dude. If you're willing to pay like that, you can have your exclusives. I don't need to play the Wolverine game that much. Now, what's sad, they're screwing the games up.
License terms you were talking about.
Yeah, $621 million for the X-Men license. God, dog. Bloodaxe, $621 million just for the exclusive license to make those games.
Yeah, the last good X-Men game was actually Ultimate Alliance.
Ultimate Alliance, absolutely. That is wild. Do you know how bad it is if those X-Men games bomb? Because you got to remember, this is just a license, okay? This is a license. These budgets for these games, they've spent $270 million on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So on top of that licensing, they're going to spend hundreds of $millions on the game. They may be $1 billion in the hole by the first couple of games they put out. And $1 billion is not easy to make on a video game that isn't filled with transactions. But we also know a game with transactions does not tend to do well. I think that they may have overdid it. They may have freaked out, overspent, and this may be what starts putting Sony in a bad place. We already saw Spider-Man 2's quality was not a big step up for Spider-Man 1, despite that. It was a little bit better. It wasn't $270 million better. I mean, that's an insane amount of money for a single-player, non-RPG, non-open world, no, non-MMO game. You know, I expect to see that kind of budget on a Diablo or something. That is crazy for a single-player game.
Man, Marvel gets royalties on top of that, too, though, man. They're getting 9 to 18% of net sales, 19 to 26% of physical game sales, 19% to 26% of net sales on DLC, hardware bundles, 35 to 50% of wholesale bundle price.
Oh no, like this deal's terrible. Like somebody, and then there's huge termination penalties. Like when they were covering this, business people were looking at this and going like, this is a terrible, like they are very confident they're going to make a huge amount of money because this is savage. Now for Marvel, it's friggin' amazing. It's a Bobby Kotick deal for Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a good deal for Marvel.
So they have to sell 6 million units.
Yep.
Combined on PS5 and PC.
Which means they got to put it on PC now.
On the major three. Let's see. First year after its PlayStation console release, either party may terminate the agreement. If we terminate, we must pay Marvel a $9 million breakup fee.
If the games don't sell, they have to pay $9 million. And by the way, and Marvel can cancel Bloodaxe if it doesn't sell. Marvel can cancel and go, you're screwing this up, give us $9 million and you can't make our games.
Yeah, but they have to sell 6 million units in the first year or they lose this deal. I mean, this is their part of the deal. They get exclusivity. This goes all the way to December 31st of 2035. So this is for the next over a decade.
Oh, no, they're buying exclusivity. But at a friggin' insane price.
And the exclusivity specifically mentions none of these characters can show up on Xbox.
Yeah.
But Xbox is the problem.
Yeah, Xbox is the one that's doing this stuff, even though we now have evidence that Sony specifically bribes massively profitable deals to specifically say, don't put on Xbox. This is crazy, man. Like, all that whining, you now find out Sony's a liar. Like, Sony is the exclusivity people. They're throwing out insanely profitable. I mean, dude, like he said, on top of 621 million, they're promising they're going to sell a certain amount of copies, and they're giving out up to 20% or more royalties on everything they do. And for that one package deal, up to 50%. This is not even a deal that's profitable for Sony. It's just to hurt Xbox. This is a who's the dang people that are messing with Steam all the time? Epic. This is we're not doing this because we're trying to succeed. We're doing this to hate on you. Because if you think about it, that's not a very profitable deal for friggin' Sony. That is a crazy contract. I would be sorely pressed to not sign that. It's just that damn good. Because remember, they still got to pay the $621 million. And then they can make them pay another $9 million if the games don't do well. Now, if those games don't do well, Sony's in trouble. And big time. Big time in trouble. Because they got to sell that number of copies in a year. Spider-Man is still trying to hit 7 million. Now, it is. But will Spider-Man hit 9 million copies in a year? That's a rough call. And honestly, who's looking forward to this Wolverine game? I didn't even know it was coming out.
I'll be honest, the Wolverine game is the one that I'm afraid might not make the 6 million.
I don't think it will.
Units.
And it depends on what they do with the X-Men too, man. Because
X-Men has a little more gravitas to it,
but here's the
for
catch.
The masses. But Wolverine is a very masculine character which
he's got it's a very specific.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing. There's a catch-22 too that could screw Sony over. You know what it is? It's the Marvel Studios. They could sink these franchises before the games even come out.
Oh yeah.
I've heard they got really bad stuff planned for the X-Men show, man.
Yeah,
if you watch
the
Doomcock,
game
there's some bad rumors.
Looking to be released until 2029. So, yeah.
So they got to. So Wolverine has to pull this off. You're right. Wolverine has to pull it off, and yeah, because there's too much time between the other games. Wolverine's going to be the one to fail. Wolverine will probably be the game that does not hit that. Now that doesn't mean they have to cancel, but will they? Yeah. But I'm afraid that by the time the X-Men game comes out,
free $9 million.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, free $9 million, and then you can go sign a deal with Xbox.
Yeah,
it won't be that stupid. Xbox ain't that stupid. Is it that stupid? It just sucks living in 2023. It really does. It just sucks living in 2023. It really does.
All right.
But they're not that dumb. They're not that dumb that they would ever sign that bad a deal. But, I mean, especially with the whole, and we can cancel it and keep all the money. That's crazy. But, all right, just as a closer, the thing that Sony doesn't have protecting them is what if Marvel Studios F's up the X-Men real bad? And from what I've heard, they're really wanting to not have any male characters. I've heard rumors they don't want male characters in X-Men.
That's probably the big thing is you've made this deal, and what if Disney fails miserably? Which, I mean, I'll be honest.
Keeps failing miserably?
Well, I'm speaking of just the X-Men franchise.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, because of their current record, it's likely.
And then, even if your X-Men doesn't have any relation to the show, if a franchise has been burnt to the ground. Plus, while they have exclusivity, I'm pretty sure Marvel has some say-so to go, no, we don't want you changing the X-Men back. Because I don't think they'd let them do that. I don't know the fine print here, but I'm pretty sure if the Marvel decides that everybody's alternative, to keep myself from getting any more trouble, and change all the X-Men alternative, and then Sony's like, that's not going to sell. We're going to change them back. I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel has the ability to go no, you can't do that. Because they're not going to let them just have full creative license with their stuff. They're not. No company lets you write your own whole story. It's going to have to be approved. I'm almost 100% sure that Spider-Man 3 and the X-Men has to pass. Well, not Spider-Man. They own Spider-Man. But the X-Men has to pass some kind of committee at Marvel. So they literally can be sabotaged by Marvel. Marvel can go, we want you to do this. We don't approve that script. Make them do a bad script. Take their money. Laugh all the way to the bank. You've set yourself up to where you can be sabotaged by Marvel because they can sabotage the franchise, sabotage your game storyline. You can't even do nothing about it. And then they can put their games out. Then they're out of the contract. They don't have to be exclusive anymore. I don't know. All right, now we've gotten the Bloodaxe's topic.
Yeah, the last thing up is just a real short here. But,
don't you cut
Blood
it off.
and Q play Gears of War quite a bit. And there was a recent tweet that came out this week that alludes to maybe us hearing something next year for Gears of War 6. What do you think, Blood?
Well, I think that I'll believe it when I see it, to be honest with you, because they would have to been doing this very, very quietly to have anything coming out in 2024. But as Q was saying before the show, they haven't really done anything with Gears of War, with Gears 5 in about 2 years. We didn't even have Thanksgiving this year. We don't have the other events with the snowball boom shots for Christmas anymore. Hell, the skins that you place on your weapons and on your characters don't even show up in the game. They won't even fix what's broken right now. So if they are putting all their eggs into that development basket, they've done a really good job of keeping it quiet. The question I would have, and I've been really curious to find out, is are they going to continue going into the future with the current characters? Are they going to do a side story, or are they going to do a prequel? I've been pounding the table for the past, ever since Gears 3, to do a Pendulum Wars E-Day Gears game. I think that would be really interesting, because in the first Gears of War, you're 4 years after Emergence Day, and you're breaking Marcus Phoenix out of jail as Dom Santiago. So those first 4 years, I think, would be a very interesting story. Plus, you could bring back the original the Delta Squad and have a lot of fun with those characters.
Characters we actually like.
Exactly. You don't have to deal with which is canon from the choice in Gears 5. Spoiler alert: you choose somebody to die.
And neither choice is good.
Huh?
And neither choice is good. Even though I'm not a fan of one of those characters, it's still going to be really weird on the story if he's the one that goes. But if it's the other one, it's also going to piss people off. It's one of those choices where there is no good choice. You're going to lose a character that's going to probably screw with the story really bad.
Oh, exactly. So I am kind of curious when we will have the next Gears release, because even just getting a match on Gears 5 now is really tough, just to be able to get 5 competent people to be able to play together. Mm-hmm. But I will hold my breath and until we actually find something concrete from TC, because until the coalition sends out some information on it, I have a hard time believing it.
Yeah,
I mean, I know, and I mean, the middle talk is like, we were sitting up here going like, what would they do? And I agree with you that the hardest part about continuing Gears is that they made a story choice that first of all, the story, least interesting part. Hive Busters was infinitely better. And honestly, if they were going to do a Gears 6, they've screwed up the main story enough that I'd rather they continue with the Hive Busters. Just make that the main cast for the rest of the game, because I don't want to know what one of the decisions they made. I'm not happy with either one. And that's like, when you took me to the game and I went through that, I literally was just like, I don't like either one of these at all. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't like either one of these. I kind of don't want to know, and I know it's going to piss people off no matter which one they do, because on top of that, I don't want to spoil it, but they made a bad call. They put it in a rough scenario where it's like they literally get called racist based on their decision. They put themselves in that situation where, depending on their decision, they killed the black guy. They don't know there's more than one black guy. That's just bad. They can be called racist for their decision if they're not careful. But if they do the other one, they screw up a legacy. So it's like, it's so bad. The choices are so bad. I don't know where they go from here. I think that's why they ain't said nothing. Because the second they say, we're doing a sequel, message boards are going to blow up, ain't they, brother?
Yeah, it is, especially once they find out which decisions actually canon. You'll have some very upset people. But I mean, in my just opinion, I think they'll probably go with keeping the legacy together and getting rid of another good character, a very interesting character. But I can't see them moving forward with cutting the family line, if you will.
I know, but then they killed the black guy. That doesn't sit well either. Heck, the only black guy can play in the game. They didn't add Cole until a lot later. So it would be like, all right, I'm not in Gears of War 6, Bloodaxe. You take it kind of hard because you'll be like, oh, man, that was Q's guy. I don't know, I'm out, man. So I don't even know how they set themselves up for that problem.
Whenever they killed Dom, Mrs. Bloodaxe didn't play for almost 2 months.
Oh, Dom, yeah, that one broke my heart.
Because that was her character. She was Dom, I was Marcus.
Yep. I played Cole. All right. Final thing. The other problem, too, is that the other characters are getting too old. Yeah. The OG characters are literally getting very old by this game. But none of the new characters, except for the ones that you have to choose one of them to die, kind of even caught with people. And then they put one of them's got to die. So you're just like, I don't know who I'll play. You know what? But to put it in perspective, Bloodaxe, you played me the last few days. What character do I play exclusively now?
You play the robot.
Yeah, I just play the robot. That's where I'm at. I play the robot. Screw these humans. I just play the robot skin nonstop now. That's what they've done to me story-wise. Now, Pendulum War, I'm with you on that. I'm with you, but I'm also hoping if they decide to keep going, I can do some more Scorpio Squad. I like Scorpio Squad a lot. You know, I like Keegan and Mac and Lonnie a lot. I could do more Scorpio. And I kind of like Cole's daughter. She's pretty cool. And Hoffman, although he'll be in a friggin' iron lung by then. But still, Hoffman. Yeah, Hoffman is getting old too. But it's fun. They're more interesting characters. Dude, the Highbuster content did really well. Didn't it, Bloodaxe? Like, Highbuster did really well.
Yeah,
So,
I played through it, I think, 4 or 5 times already.
I believe they should keep going with the Highbuster storyline, or they should do the Pendulum War. I'm with you. I love it because those are my favorite characters are. And honestly, we're curious about what happened in the Pendulum War. Problem that anybody won't do it, though, is that the Pendulum War was against humans, and Gears is you fighting monsters. That's kind of what it is. You fighting the Locusts or equivalent. And it would be a very different game. It would be more Call of Duty than it would be Gears. So that's the only catch to that, is that it would become, and it gets more political. You know, that Pendulum War was way more political. And I don't know if I want to touch politics in this current year anymore at all.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
All right, we'll wrap up there, guys. Yeah, I mean, hey, tomorrow's a new year. So
Maybe we'll get an announcement tomorrow.
who knows? Happy New Year's, everybody. Be sure to check out Dicejunkies.com where you can find links everywhere we are online, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And as every week,
We hope you